There's so much to see on this big blue marble. On Indioko, we've sailed halfway across the world's largest ocean. And like many who have gone before us, we've been excited by the prospect of discovering new, untouched lands and venturing beyond the edge of the map. But humans are tribal by nature, and so when one finds something incredible, it's not long before the community gathers, often eclipsing what made the experience so special in the first place. We keep chasing the dream, but the last place we expected to find it was right here.
We made it in safely with the last sort of sniff of diesel in the tanks. There is a fuel station at the other end of this atoll, Fakarava, so we'll probably zip up there somehow. It might be an interesting journey. We'll figure it out. That's for future problems, future us, not a big deal. The cool thing is we happen to have arrived here in South Fakarava, one of our favorite spots, and there's no one else here. This is weird. So this is like the #1 dive destination in the whole of French Polynesia, if not the whole of the South Pacific. It is normally super busy. There are mooring balls here specifically for people to come and dive. And yeah, we are all alone. Literally, the dive shops are shut. The boats have left. We have it all to ourselves.
So we're just loading up the dinghy and then we are going to head over to the pass. But today is going to be a little bit different from the way that we've dived this before because we have absolutely zero surface support. When we've been here before, we would find another boat who wanted to dive and we would all go out in dinghies and they would dive while we waited at the surface and then pick them up and then swap over. And particularly because this is a drift dive, it means that you can get dropped off outside the pass, drift in with the current and then get picked up without worrying about your dinghy being in the wrong place. We don't have that option today. So this is going to be a slight test of our skills, see if we can figure out a way to leave our dinghy in one place, drift in with the current, and then magically appear back at the beginning. But we'll figure it out. So just after low tide, there's a little bit of current. It's just turned around coming in again, and that's going to increase over the next hour while we are underwater, and it should sort of blow us back inside the lagoon. We're going to try and drop here and basically just go straight down to 30 meters, and there's a cave down there where we can just sit and watch like we're in an aquarium as 700 sharks go right past our window. If you're anything like us, then at first sight you just see a wall of sharks. But the longer we spent watching them from our cave, the more we learned about their individual personalities. This one, for example, had a bite mark on his shoulder that looked like a bite from a cookie cutter shark. So I gave him a wave and named him Cookie. He was so curious about us, and we spotted him swimming past us over and over again to check us out. But of course there's a limit to how much time we can borrow in this incredible underwater world. And so we had to tear ourselves away and start heading up to the shallows. As we left the cave and got one last look, Cookie came by to wave us off. Recently, scientists have discovered that Fakarava South Pass is home to 3 separate groups of sharks, each living in a different part. As we followed the reef wall into the lagoon, the second group came along at just the right moment, and we were treated to another close encounter as we passed. During our safety stop, we spotted a crown jellyfish drifting past us and wondered if it was the same one we had spotted at the surface when we jumped in. We were keen to stay away from it to avoid being stung by its long tentacles, but the reef fish took a different approach as it floated by in the current, and they all swam up to help themselves to a bite.
Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. I don't know if I was expecting it to be like better than when we've been here before, but yeah, there was just everything happening.
I mean, yeah, we had loads of sharks. I think they're bigger than last time, personally.
Well, they've had more time to grow up.
That's what it is, they've grown up. And then you've obviously made several friends. That nurse shark.
Oh my goodness, we were like lying in the cave, and then you just, I don't think I saw the nurse shark the first time.
Oh, whoops.
And then it just like suddenly popped by my mask.
It was just having a little sniff around, and then it went out a bit and thought, no, wait a minute, I do want to stick in the cave. And then found your fins were in the way.
I was lying like, just stay still, it's going right over your leg, it's about to touch you, it's about to bite your feet off.
Just had a little nibble, and then off it went. And then we went to another cave, and then that's where I met my nurse shark friend. So,
yeah, right.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, Ian was like, oh, I'm just going to pop in this cave and see what's there. And I knew there was a shark in there. And so as soon as she went in with the camera, I was like, well, I'd better stay out, because otherwise the shark is going to really freak out when it sees you, and then it can't escape.
Actually, I'm a shark whisperer, so it didn't freak out at all. It came right beside me and was very chill. And then it saw you and freaked out right next to me. It was like darting around.
Yeah, it
I think
did.
I lost it in the camera. I tried to chase it. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no.
it was still mind-blowing. And to do the whole site entirely on your own, I
Yeah.
can't really understand how we've achieved this, but we've ended on a beach, like after a shallow drift Superman section.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So because the current had picked up from slack tide, we could, after the dive shot where we would normally end, we were like, actually, there's enough current really like ripping around the corner into the shallows. And so we just like, hey, let's go this way. And so, yeah, it is just like you're lying along this carpet of corals.
Like 3 meters.
Trying not to hit anything or accidentally surface. But yeah, that was fun.
And then somehow we managed to pull out roughly where we wanted to be. The only problem is our dinghy is like a kilometre that way.
Yeah, so the plan is one of us is going to walk over the island, swim out to the dinghy, hopefully not drift away and miss it, and then drive around and pick the other up. So who's going for it?
I mean, there's only one way to do this.
Well, I ended up with a short straw, even though I won rock, paper, scissors. I have dive boots on and I need to walk over a little bit of coral at the other end. So I have left Ian in the shallows looking after all of our gear, and I've got a 5-minute walk across the island in the sunshine of the palm trees. It is a pretty perfect day, I am not going to lie. Here's the dinghy where we left it on the mooring ball. I just need to swim across this incredibly shallow reef and then over a short expanse of water to get out to the mooring. However, the current has been building up and increasing while we were diving. So now it is absolutely ripping it here. So I need to try and time my exit from the shallows so that I land at the dinghy and don't miss, because if I miss, I'm just going to get swept into the lagoon and I will not be able to swim against this current to get back out to the boat. So yeah, here goes. Basically the same route that we just dived around to that beach where I can anchor the dinghy, and I can pick up Ian and we can load off our gear and get back. Whew, that was a rush.
right, so as you probably saw from that dinghy ride home, things have turned around a little bit. It's getting a little bit rolly and choppy here. And we have been in a situation like this right here before. Basically, there is a northerly wind kicking in and it's probably going to pick up. And annoyingly, we are on the southern edge of this atoll, completely exposed. So any wind that does come funneling down from the north just picks up waves, picks up horrible chop and roll and swell and throws it all onto us down here at the bottom. So I think that might be why we've got the whole place to ourselves. However, having been here when it got really wild, we know it's not the right place to be in these conditions. So we're gonna drop the lines, we're gonna start heading up. I imagine most people have probably run to the village at the very north, but I think we could find another spot that's not quite so far. All right, I'm officially off the clock. I just finished editing a bonus chapter for our patrons. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And now I get to find out where on earth we are. Where are we, Bri?
We are about 20 minutes out. There's like a little sandbar here on the corner of the atoll, and we're hoping that that gives us enough protection from the swell. It's either going to be perfect or it's going to be terrible because the swell is going to wrap around the edge and hit us side on. But there's no one else here. There's no houses or anything, and the storm is definitely approaching. There's been like little rain showers, a few rainbows, so I think that'll be a good spot.
I know, you probably can't see it in the camera, but like there's just a horrible grey cloud dangling over the back of the boat here. Look at that rain!
Yeah, we've dodged most of it as we've come north, but it looks like it's going to be fun for the next 2 days.
All right, let's hunker down. I sense an awful lot of hot chocolate, crisps, and movies in our future.
This is like our winter, really, isn't it?
Cruiser's winter lasts, I hope, just a day or two. But yeah,
it's all we can cope with.
Hunker down and deal with the bad weather. I'm amazed we've made it this far on the fuel. Like so one tank is basically completely empty. The other tank is now very much. The needle is hovering. Let's just say it's just above zero. I think we have a bit of reserve. To be fair,
1.1 miles to go. We can definitely make it. And if not, we've got a dinghy. We can just tie the dinghy off to the side and shunt ourselves in the last mile.
Yeah, and then when we want to make it to the fuel station, that's only another 5 hours away. That's a long dinghy ride.
Well, we caught a little bit by some of the rain as we came in, but here we are in this anchorage and it is perfect for what we're needing. I know you can't really see it, but just over here, there is a reef submerged below the surface, so the waves do still get over the top of it, but it completely dampens down the swell. And this should be perfect. This is pretty much the angle that the wind is going to come from the next 2 days. And it is so much calmer than the south edge, where we just had like, I don't know, 65 miles of fetch building up to smashing us about on that mooring bowl. So here we are in our own little slice of stormy paradise, ready to take on the beast.
All right, I am pleased to report that we have seen the storm pass. It's gone overhead. It's looking mostly clear. There's still some clouds over there. However, as you can probably tell, we have come up to the village in the north because we need to fill up again, which is weird because we normally don't need to fill up this frequently. This is going to be, I don't know how many times we filled up in the last couple of months. Normally we fill up like twice a year and we sail everywhere, so we don't usually use a lot of diesel. However, with fuel tanks exploding and draining, with us going all the way to the Gambier and most of the way back now. So we've done, I don't know, closing in on 2,000, 3,000 miles, like a long range. And yeah, the tanks are, as you know, pretty empty. So this village in Fakarava thankfully have what looks like a car petrol station, but you can bring your boat up to the side of it. It's a little bit tight, so hopefully it'll all go well. And we went in and just asked them earlier and they said, yeah, of course you can come in anytime before we close, which is in like 30 minutes. So we have to hurry. So we have 40 minutes to lift anchor, remove all the coral floats, get ourselves over to the fuel dock and get filled up on both sides before they close. Cameron time. Have I ever told you about Cameron time? I always like to say it's like African time, but less reliable. And this is proving to be very true. We'd planned to do this first thing this morning. Sea turtle, dead ahead. I'm enjoying the extra navigational challenge. Avoid the coral heads. It is getting shallow, but don't hit the giant green sea turtle.
That's 6 meters to the dock.
Thank you. Aiming for the yellow one if you can.
Ah, merci.
Merci.
He's taking you to the yellow one. Front line tensioned now.
Okay.
Coming in to almost touch at the back now.
How was that?
We got very, very close to the back step. So one of the things, I love our boat, but one of the things that is slightly frustrating is the amount of space that we have on our back scoop. And we have damaged it once before on a dock because the only place we can put our rear fender is on that last stanchion, and there's like another 1.5 meters of boat. So if we're coming in and we're rolling on that back fender, then the back of the boat spins around and it will hit the concrete wall. So thankfully I got my foot into it just in time and sort of held us off. But we have damaged it one time just a little bit in doing that exact thing. But hey presto, we made it in, and now starts the sweltering process of fueling up in the heat of the day. We always end up getting here at the hottest part of the day.
Okay, so Brad's just running into the shop now to hand over our VAT certificate that we explained before. Basically, because we're a yacht in transit, we can get sort of dispensation on paying taxes on fuel, which is really, really good. It makes a massive difference to the price. But we have like 15 minutes before they shut, and the guy was like, have you got your paperwork? Yep, get inside, you're gonna have to process it. And then hopefully he's nice enough to hang around through his lunch hour for just a little bit, because we have to fill both tanks and it's going to take a bit of time.
Well, the good news is that they have accepted our paperwork, so we get the cheaper rate. The not quite so good news is that there are only 9 minutes until they close for lunch, so they can't fill our tanks in that time. So we're going to have to wait here over lunch, and it's a French country, so their lunch hour is 3 hours, so we've got 3 hours to kill. I suppose the other bit of good news is that we managed to just luck out. When we get issued a duty-free fuel certificate, they only make them valid for 6 months, and they are free to pick up from the government in Tahiti, and they're free to renew, but for some reason they only last for 6 months. And didn't realise, but ours runs out next week. So yes, we're just making the most of it at the very end.
All right, so I have to keep half an eye on the gauge because we are filling to the top, and we worked out, we've got the correct numbers now. We put 265 litres aside, which is 70 US gallons. That's what confused us before. However, we don't think we're completely empty, because we worked out that we can do, what did we say we could do, 12 days, 11 days, constantly motoring 24 hours a day for 11 days straight, and that our jerry cans would get us an extra 3 days. So we're basically 2 weeks off-grid 24/7 motoring, and we're hoping to add a few more jerry cans, which means it'll be like infinitely off-grid constant motoring.
Yeah, so what we've learned in going to the Gambier is that, like, we knew we were going to have to be self-sufficient, but we have realized how much that opens up opportunities to us. The more diesel that we can carry on board, the more power we can have, the more food and all the rest of it. It just means that we are safer and we can go further for longer. So yeah, knowing that we have almost enough capacity on board, fuel to take us for 2 weeks straight. Like, if we ever have to motor somewhere for 2 weeks to get to safety, then we have made some very bad decisions. We should never be that far remote. But it is definitely good to have as a backup, as a reserve, because we've seen that we do need it quite often more than we want to use it.
I'm absolutely loving the fact that the petrol station, gas station, has just opened again. So it's a hive of activity. There was a queue outside the door to get in, but at the same time, you've got the kids swimming in the harbour, the dock area here. There's a fishing boat waiting to top up, which I think is taking all the kids out for a bit of fun. And even here behind us, there's a girl on a jet ski who's just jumping off and cooling off, waiting for presumably dad to stop faffing around with his boat so she can go and play in her jet ski. It's like party time, it's great.
Yeah, I do love it that, like, if you take your car to the fuel station or your truck to fill it up, it's very much like a practical stop, a service stop. You go there, you fill up, and then you leave again. You're not going to hang around there. You're not going to enjoy the view. But yeah, like, we're in such remote places in these atolls. that you come to the fuel dock and it can't help but be like really beautiful. And the watercolor is still this amazing like turquoise green. And it's hot and sunny and there's a couple of boats and some palm trees around. It's like, this is not the experience that we have, that we were used to back on land. But I guess when you go to paradise, everywhere is lovely.
All right, teamwork.
All right, back is off.
There we go.
Front is off.
Front is off.
Aviento.
Bonne journée. Do you reckon you could lasso me a bowspring so I can actually push the boat out?
We might be able to get it here.
Yeah, that's fine. It might be drifting by now anyway.
We're now 2 meters off the dock.
2. I'll see if I can get us a twist without it then.
Yeah, we're twisting out now.
For a second there, I wondered if we'd need an extra line just to help us get our angle, but it's looking good. We're not getting blown off our own today, so actually it's quite an easy de-docking for those of you who pay attention to this stuff. All right, so now that we're clear of the fuel station, the plan is we're actually going to drop anchor again for a short while, I think. We haven't really decided if we'll do that here or further up by the pass, but either way, we actually have to kill a little bit of time before we set off this evening, because I think we're going to set off in the dark.
Well, we decided to come all the way over to the pass, and now this is just perfect because it is right here behind us. So we can just chill here for a few hours and then lift anchor and get there within like 15 minutes. So we should be able to time our exit pretty well. The only drawback is that there are so many bommies here. We did our best to drop in sand, but there is a high chance that our chain gets wrapped. So I'm going to jump in for a swim. I want to cool off anyway. And I'm just going to take a look and see how badly our anchor chain is going to get caught on stuff. And then at least if we are caught, then when we come to lift in the dark, we'll have a bit of an idea of how to navigate our way out of here.